Thank you so much for joining us today. As a housekeeping rule, please remember to write your questions in the question section of the GoToWebinar control panel. Also, you can download the handout of this presentation right away on this handout section, also in the GoToWebinar control panel. Feel free to share with your team, and let's get started. We're still waiting for some attendees to join us, but let's do it on time so we can move on. Perfect. Let's share this agenda. What we're gonna learn today is what does it really mean to have a customer-centric marketing strategy, and why brands are failing at this. We're also going to learn about the 6 pillars of customer centricity, some steps to increase your customer-centric marketing performance. We're going to talk about a little bit of inbound marketing mythology and some of the best practices that we think are going to be very helpful for all of you and your teams and your brands and your companies. So let's start with our first item of the agenda. What does it really mean to have a customer-centric marketing strategy? First, what we need to understand is that customers are not just dictating how vendors, the digital properties should function, but also they have big expectations of content, products, marketing programs, sales methodologies, and customer-facing processes. This means that we need to be flexible when we are making our programs and when we are developing our customer-facing processes, because they are the ones that are dictating how we should do all of this. So this is why one of our main keywords that we're gonna share today is how we need to start listening to our customer, so we can have this flexibility when it comes to creating all of this that customers are expecting from us, from our companies, from our brands. So this also means that brands that listen and open their 4 walls to customers have higher loyalty, retention, and, very important, repeat purchase rates. This is what we want, and we're going to talk about loyalty, because when it comes to this, we need to aim for loyalty. That's our main goal, because we need to understand that when it comes to the customer-centric marketing strategy, the customer is in the center of everything that we do, but with the goal to have a long-term relationship. That's what we need to understand. So when it comes to understanding what is to be customer-centric, brands have to stop being brand-centric. What does this mean? They have to move themselves away from the center of the message and use digital marketing technologies to adjust the message for the specific customers they want to reach. So customer-centric marketing would not only put the customer at the center of the story, but actually it will connect with the customer in a meaningful and relevant way. These are 2 keywords, meaningful and relevant. We need to start delivering meaningful and relevant messages to our customers. We can only do this when we start creating a strategy that focuses only on the customer. We need to step away from being brand-centric, because it's we need to start connecting our brand with our customers, but in a very different way. First, we need to attract them to us, but to do that, we also need to have empathy for them, for the customer. And this is going to be the main challenge. So what are the benefits of having a customer-centric strategy? First, you're gonna involve your customers in the content creation process and make theirs count. It means that you need to be able to co-create content with the customer. Because right now, the generations that we're facing, the millennials, all of these generations are creating content. We need to be able to work with them. Also, earn your audience trust. This is very important. We need to gain their trust. It's just like a relationship between two people. We cannot have a very good relationship with anyone if we don't have trust. Also, engages and empathizes with your clients. That's what we need to do. We need to engage with them. We need to make them also engage with our brand. The benefit number 4, attracts future businesses. We need to understand that we're talking about business. We need to have transactions. We need to have sales. We need to have a different approach to things, because we need to also think that we are going to gain and attract future businesses with this customer. It's not about one time. It's about a lifetime with this customer. Also increases your engagement. When we talk about digital marketing, all these communities, that social media and all of that, that's the main thing that we're always looking for: engagement. How are these customers engaging with the content that we're creating, with everything that we're doing? How our customers are engaging with all of that we're doing? The only way they're going to do that is when we understand that they need to be in the center of everything that we do, because they want to be heard. And that's why we need to understand that marketing is at a crossroad, because on one side is the customer, on the other side is the brand, and the marketer is in the middle. So that is a crossroad there. Us as marketers, we need to see how we're going to connect our customers and our brands in a meaningful and relevant way. So let's go to the item number 2. Why brands fail? Why brands are failing at putting the customer at the center? Why? First, brands struggle to understand who should own the voice of the customer. This is like a battle inside of our companies. Does it belong to marketing? Does it belong to customer service? Does it belong to sales? So we're having a struggle inside of companies, and we need to understand that it's not about owning the voice of the customers. Why not let the customer be the voice of the customer? Because with the amount of social listening, remember, listening is the main thing that can be done across the web. There is no reason for a brand to not know where they stand with their customer. And we're going to talk about a little bit of data. Instead of worrying about who serves as the voice of the customer, brands need to focus on who represents the ears of the customers. That's the shift that we need to do. Because listening is a new required skill for brands to master. And us as marketers are in the middle, and we need to listen so we can connect our customers with our brands in a relevant way and meaningful. So listening is what will make the difference. Also, data will always be a blessing and a curse, because sometimes we have so much data. Now, with all the insights that we can get from our customers, from all our communities, social media, everything that we're doing, all of our marketing efforts that will bring us data, we have so much in our hands. So what can we do? Because with the ability to create infinite unique users personas, brands have a challenge to differentiate between customer types and your individual needs. And so that seemingly overwhelming task of creating audience segments doesn't get done. And we need to go from macro to having one-on-one relationships. Because what social media does is that it gives us this huge reach to a big community, but we need to focus ourselves in getting one-on-one relationships, because we need to, and we are only gonna personalize our content and our way of communicating when we understand that we need to have segments, audience segments, and we need to do it right. We need to understand who is my customers, who is my customer, who is the person that I'm talking to. That's what we know, the buyer persona. So number 3 is that there is an internal disconnect about who is responsible for engaging with the customer. It's like what we mentioned before. There's this debate, there's this struggle inside of the company that, oh, who is the voice? Who is the voice of the customer? Now, it's also who is responsible for engaging with the customer. This is simple. The client is everyone's responsibility. But how and when that engagement takes place requires a coordinated effort. That doesn't mean that, oh, everyone is responsible. It means that we need to have a coordinated effort between departments. This requires an internal change of mindset. And this requires that organizations need to start working together. That's the only way we're gonna be able to communicate one message, one promise to the customer. So we need to ask ourselves these questions. This is very important. I want all of you to take time to answer these questions. Please download these handouts and share this with your team. This will make the difference. And you need to have a meeting and ask these questions to everyone in every department. Are we putting customers' well-being first in all of our decisions? That's the only way we're gonna be able to put the customer at the center of everything that we do. Are we driving consistency in the delivery of our brand promise? Do we believe that putting customers' well-being first will set us apart from competitors? That's the only thing will set us apart from competitors, when the customer will know that we're putting them first. Are we doing everything we can do to make things easy for customers? Are we really doing that? Or are we doing things to make things easy for ourselves? What are we doing? So these are questions that we need to ask ourselves, and we need to address them with our team and with different departments, so we can understand if we're really doing what it takes to create this customer-centric marketing strategy. Now we're going to learn the 6 pillars of customer centricity. This is very important. This is very interesting. I really think this is something that you should even print and have it close to a mural or whatever you have in your office, because we always need to go to this. The customer is in the center of everything that we do, and these are 6 pillars that we need to learn and make a reality in our strategies and every effort that we do. First is experience. Make the customer experience easy. The customer doesn't have time. The customer doesn't have time to complicated things. So make the customer experience easy, enjoyable, and convenient. Why? Because when there is when the experience it's complicated, people had a bad experience with any of with your agent, with your salespeople, whatever, or with the salesperson in a store, in a restaurant. This will make the difference between choosing one brand with other brand. So companies that excel in customer experience make their customers so happy. That's what we need to do. Make them happy that they want to share their positive interactions with your brand. You know, it's easier for them to share negative feedback. It's so much easier because humans, they want to get it out. But when it comes to positive, it needs to be amazing, an exceptional experience. They need to really feel happy to share it. And that's not an easy job to do. And when this happens, every time our customer has a connection with our brand, we go to loyalty, because we need to reward and recognize customers in a consistent way that is relevant to how they want to be rewarded. Not like we understand they need to be rewarded. It's how they want to be. Loyal companies reward shoppers in ways that are meaningful to customers. So we need to start listening how our customers want to be rewarded. How? We should do it how they want, what they're expecting from us. Remember, there is a big and huge expectation from our customers with having a better experience with our brand. Also, communications. Personalize the message to customers. Remember, we have a reach, we can reach a big amount of customers or potential customers, but we need to aim for the one-on-one relationship. And that is very important to understand, that for us to be able to do that, we need to personalize the message to customers based upon what they buy and in a way they like. Highly communicative companies provide tailored, relevant communications based on customer preference. So it's not what I think they should hear. I need to start listening to them, and I need to start communicating after I listen. It's not the other way around. So also assortment, you need to have the right products and a strong variety to meet customers' needs. So also, what are their pains? What are their needs? That's only gonna be provided to us by listening to them. And also asking questions. Companies shouldn't necessarily have too wide a selection of products, but they should stock the ones their customers want. Now we have so many things available for us. Even for the customer, it's like a struggle. But we need to be able to attract them in a way with experience, with how the way we reward them, and the way we communicate with them, so they can understand that this is the right product or service for them. Also, promotions. We need to leverage promotions on the items that are most appealing and often purchased by current customers. So these are reports that we need to have when we have our sales meetings and when we have our marketing meetings, because companies with successful promotions programs promote the products that matter the most to customers, not the ones that we want to get rid of, the ones that matter the most. So when we have that, we can also understand the importance of feedback, because we hear and recognize customer concerns. Companies that rank high in customer feedback have a two-way conversation and emotional connection with their customers. So these are 6 pillars that will help us put the customer in the center of everything that we do. So let's share now the steps to increase your customer-centric marketing performance. This is very important, and it also will connect with everything that we're already sharing with you, because it will help us understand how companies will actually be able to execute what we're saying, because we're trying to be practical with you guys today. So if you have any questions of anything that we're sharing on how to make it even more practical to you, please feel free to ask them. So we're going to have a question section later on. So the first one is co-creating marketing with customer. There are 4 actions to co-create marketing with the customers. First, routinely invite in high-value target market buyers to collaborate and validate market strategy. You see, high-value customers, we need to understand who has the higher value to us. Engage with high-value customers in defining distinctive and valued lifecycle experiences. We also need to test marketing campaigns and the message that we're sending with high-value customers. Do we know who is our high-value target customers? Routinely share company results, good and bad, with customers, collaborators. We need to be more transparent with our teams. We need to be more real, and we need to share this with our collaborators because they need to know the results, good and bad, because the good will help us get better, and the bad will help us do also better for our customer. So the second one is silo bridging is central to mature customer-centric marketing. How are we going to mature this strategy? We need to start making bridges, better communication, internal communication. Marketing, sales, the service department, everyone needs to know that the customer is the center, and we are all working together for their needs. Think about how we can simplify the entire value chain for our customer. Also, dedicated budget is a prerequisite to mature customer-centric. We need to have a budget. These are very interesting facts in a study that Leapfrog Marketing Institute made. Half of B2C companies and a third of the B2B companies have a dedicated customer experience budget. So we understand that we need a budget for this. This is not free. We need to invest in the customer experience. Among those, 53% are owned by marketing, 24 are owned by a dedicated customer experience group, 11 are share or not explicitly assigned, and 7% are owned by IT and 4% by others. So this was a study that the Leapfrog Marketing Institute made, and it's very interesting to see that how the main it's marketing, and how a lot of companies have a customer experience group. That's also very interesting. So you need to think, how are you gonna get this in your marketing budget or your sales budget dedicated to the experience of the customer? So that's a task for you guys. And let's see, this is a very important image here that we're sharing. The customer is in the center, and this is very practical when we understand that we need content, community, advocacy, influencers. How are we going to use this to help us put the customer in the center? When we talk about content, we need to see that content is it's very important for us to actually communicate with our customers. It's not the content that we usually or that we tend to do in our traditional marketing. We're talking about stories here. Storytelling is very important. We're talking about the story of our brand that can connect with our customers. Visual appealing, that's very important. Let's say it's snackable bites, that amount of creativity. We need to understand the buyer's journey, the buyer persona, who are we sharing this with, how we're going to personalize this content that is also shareable, and we include the storytelling in everything that we do. Is telling a story, there is a communication, there is conversation that is happening, and we need to be where the conversation is happening. So this conversation is happening in the communities. So we need to connect, collaborate, support. We need to establish best practices, idea sharing, and especially networking. And when we talk about a vacancy, we need to see it as a loyalty strategy. Who is sharing? Who is being rewarded on social media? Who is engaging? Who is amplifying my content? These are the ambassadors of our brands. We tend to only focus on the influencers, but these ambassadors, they're not getting paid, and they're sharing things that they like about our brands. These influencers are also very important because we're talking about experts. They're consultants, they're analysts, they're thought leaders, journalists, bloggers, practitioners, everything. Everything is important, and we need to include everything that we can to put the customer in the center. So we're going to talk about a little bit of inbound marketing methodology. Inbound marketing will help us actually attract our customer in a way that it will reflect that the customer is in the center of everything that we do. When we talk about outbound, it's only one way. We're throwing things out, but inbound, it's about two-way, because I'm also listening and waiting for feedback. You are important to me. So that is what it's about, the inbound marketing. And it reflects in these 4 steps. First, we need to attract. There's a passive community there. How am I going to attract that community? Employer brand, landing pages, SEO, you name it. We're getting leads. We're attracting these leads, but our main focus is to convert these leads, to make them candidates, to make them actual contacts. Then we need to engage with them and optimize or make them fall in love with our brand. Those are the 4 steps. We need to attract, convert, engage, and optimize. And this goes on with everything that we do in our marketing efforts, our sales effort. We need to attract, convert, engage, optimize. Optimize is a way of getting our loyalty strategy on, because we need to make them have a long-term relationship with our brands. And let's share the best practices so we can have time for questions. First, we need to connect with your audience in a more personal and emotional way, showing them the real human touch. This is how we humanize our brands. Brands are real, brands are here and real, and they want to connect with the customer. But the customer needs to see that emotional way. And that's the way that your company will set you apart from your competitors. This will make a huge deal. So second, show your audience how beneficial your product or service could be in a more creative way. What if you show your audience how others are using your product or service to benefit themselves in a creative way? And ask your audience, start asking questions, start a conversation so we can listen. Ask the right questions and what topics or type of content they want. Include them. Remember we talk about like co-creating with marketing or our customers. We need to start asking the right questions. And just to wrap it up, this is what we need to be doing. This is the best practice that we're sharing with you that we think is the most important. We need to learn. We're talking about getting feedback. We're talking about listening to the customer so you can develop the content and process accordingly. Align. Ensure your teams are aligned to give the customer a consistent and high level of experience. We talked about this. This puts everything together what we shared today. We need to align marketing, sales, customer service, IT, you name it, but they need to be aligned to give the customer a consistent and high level of experience. And in every department, we need to map. It is essential to map the customer journey so you can guide them through the process of how they interact with you online. We need to map the customer journey. We need to know what's the journey. Also, the sales cycle. We need to engage and transform. It is essential that this is seen as a strategy across the company and not a silo in marketing. Shift in culture at every level to put the customer first. Very important. Measure. This will never end. This will help us. The loyalty. Get that loyalty that we want. That's our goal. From the very first click to a loyal customer is necessary to have the tools, measures, and people in place to monitor and improve performance. This will never end. This is how we understand that is the best way to put your customer in the center of everything that you do